Greetings. This is Kal Kat, the Kal Kat Star. Yeah, this is a review of Star Trek Renegades Requiem, Part 1. To add to the Starship Locations channel over there, I put a new playlist on Weird Kitty 07, so you can go on Weird Kitty 07 and see Starship Locations fantasy reviews, as well as my regular reviews. It's just another playlist added to the playlist. So if I see science fiction movie, I put it there. Put a bunch of the other science fiction and horror movies there as well, just so you have them all together. Anyway, so yeah, Renegades. Okay, Renegades Part 2 Requiem. What they had to do is about a year ago, a little over a year ago, there was a Star Trek copyright snafu involving Axanar. It was a fan film series that made some money on its studio, made about $1 million, to produce a Star Trek film called Axanar. No relation, and so all of the fan films were under this auspice of a copyright thing that came out later, sort of guidelines for copyrighted films. So this was one of them, and they had to change all the names of all the characters in it to appeal to the copyright thing, and wrap up about half of the story arc in only 30 minutes. They could then do another one and do it in another 30. This particular Star Trek story was going to be a 40th anniversary continuation of Star Trek: The Next Generation, with a little Deep Space Nine and Voyager thrown in, and it was going to be set in 2388, and it was going to have Walter Koenig and Nichelle Nichols and Robert Beltran and a bunch of other people from the original Star Trek in it, from the various shows, and that this version of it they had to change all the names except Jake Sisko, who appears as Jake Sisko, Sarah Lofton, and seeing those old alumni again was kind of cool. So yeah, that was awesome. But they had to disguise their names. You know, they had Terry Farrell in it at one point, Robert Beltran in it at one point. And over at the other fan film series, The Orville, they had Robbie McNeil doing the second episode. So they've released one of the fan series onto television, and it's called The Orville. And the second episode's very good. But yeah, so the Renegades thing, they basically, it's all connected to that other stuff, which gives you a little backstory as we jump into this really quick review of a fan film, a Star Trek fan film done with a budget and characters and slightly changed ships and names. The Romulans are now the Regillians, that kind of thing. The Ferengi is somebody else. Aaron Eisenberg, I met him. I met a bunch of those guys. I think the only guy I hadn't met was Robert Beltran. I met all the other ones. They had to write out like 3 or 4 characters right away. Yamato Imiharu, I'm not pronouncing his name right, the guy that played Icheb, and a bunch of other people get written out. Spoilers, I guess. There's a battle between them and the Romulans, Regillians, and then Chekhov is talking about how these bad guys have infiltrated Starfleet, and they call it the Confederation instead. And the uniforms are changed slightly better, but still loose-fitting. The great-granddaughter is back. The other ones are back. Lexa Singh is back. And the acting is, in terms of the people that aren't professional actors, not too hot. But it's a little bit better paced. I think the ships actually look better if they're not the ships, because the Archer was pretty ugly in the pilot. There's one thing that they should do with this is, like the Pickening, like the European Star Trek Babylon crossover, they should actually make this Renegades thing, like the Seth MacFarlane did with the Orville. They should. There's potential in this series that what they should do is just reshoot it Well, yeah, keep those cast members and reshoot it as a sci-fi spoofy, Star Trek spoofy kind of thing. All of the Orville or one of the other ones. And just do that, because it totally would work as that. I was thinking about that earlier. It's like, when I watched it, that this would work as a thing if it didn't take itself so seriously. It shouldn't, because it's spoofy anyway. But it shouldn't be outright comedy and jokes. But it shouldn't take itself. It's not BSG. It's trying to be, but it's not. And it's not. It's trying to be Star Trek, but edgier. And it's not working. So just do that. Have these guys work for Discovery. Looks like it'll fit them. They're bold. Also, the Axanar people can work for Discovery. Yeah. Renegades we did know about, though. Renegades we were on board with Of Gods and Men. We didn't know them personally, but donated to Kickstarter. There was for the Renegades Kickstarter, we sort of dropped out of the follow-ups because we were afraid that we were kind of paranoid about the copyright thing. So, but yeah, our fan film is Star Trek Chimera, or now Starship Locations Chimera, to avoid the copyright. However, we're keeping the names, so that when you watch our Star Trek parody, you'll say like, oh, they kept the names. They're right there. Picard and Paris and Carno and everybody. So yeah, we can get away with it because ours is completely non-profit. And yet we're still waiting on completing that last 22 minutes of footage. Got some trouble with the studio as well, but we can get another studio. We can film it anywhere really. So yeah, Renegades. It was fine. I look forward to seeing Requiem 2 to see what it's about, but it was fine for what it was, and the Deep Space Nine homage was fun. But I just think that they're wasting the idea of the characters there. Couldn't some of those actors have gone to bat for them? I mean, Tim Russ directed it, the guy that played Tuvok on Voyager. It's like, couldn't they have gone to the Paramount people and said, look, we're going to do a Star Trek thing for the 50th anniversary. It clearly is that. Let's keep it that. And this is a fan film version of Star Trek. It's not an actual Star Trek. It's a fan film. And with the actors in it, then I guess because they were SAG, which means Screen Actors Guild, they couldn't do that because Paramount, CBS freaked. But yeah, I would have let them do it. But I'm not in charge, so I would have said, no, that's fine. Keep the character names and everything. That's fine. We know it's not really a Star Trek. We know it's a homage. It's a love letter to the fans kind of thing. Well, it's more of a Dear John letter. Ours is more Valentine to the fans. And it looks like at the rate we're going, it will be a Valentine to the fans. It'll be February of 2018. But it is coming. No, really. Yeah, so anyways, yeah, that's my sort of pseudo Renegades review of a bunch of other stuff. This is Starship Locations channel that you're watching. It's sort of not a channel. It's on WordKitty07. And yeah, the Chimera movie is going to be on the other one. And it's going to be on all my channels. So you get to see the Chimera movie here and here and here. And yeah, it's going to go viral. Yeah. So anyway, so when that comes out. So anyway, yeah, there's my... It was fine. I think it would have been better as just calling it Star Trek, because it obviously is. The uniforms were odd. The ships were better, but they weren't really similar, but better. Interestingly enough, they look kind of like Discovery ships now. And Star Trek Discovery is but a few days away, so we will see. I will review that. Well, we've started to review the Orville episodes. Although Scott the Church was like, oh, it wasn't very good pilot. Oh, yeah, but the second one was pretty good. So, yeah, make it work. It's not Star Trek canon, but it's trying to be something, so it's fine. There, my Renegades 2 review. They didn't need to cack a bunch of the characters really, but they did. I'm not that mean to the characters. I just have them do stuff. Q shows up. Because Q should show up. Excellent. So, yeah. This is it.